Hello everyone, my name is Aarti and you're watching HW News. In a huge escalation of controversy surrounding Nupur Sharma's statement on Prophet Mohammed, protests erupted in multiple cities across the country. Demonstrations were carried out in Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Telangana and West Bengal after Friday prayers. The protesters carried placards demanding Nupur Sharma's arrest and also burnt effigies of the BJP leader in some parts of the country. Incidents of stone pelting were also reported in several states as protesters clashed with the police. Though the BJP has tried to distance itself from the controversy, claiming that the remarks were views of the fringe, it has failed to appease the protesters who are demanding Nupur Sharma's arrest. As per sources, the Home Ministry had issued an advisory to all the states to remain vigilant ahead of Friday prayers. A day earlier, Delhi police had registered a case of hate speech against 33 people including Nupur Sharma and Navin Kumar Jindal, who also happens to be a BJP leader. A case has also been registered against Nupur Sharma in Mumbai. However, Delhi police has also provided her security as she was receiving threats of death and rape. Let us look at city by city, state by state as to what happened where this evening. Delhi. In Delhi, a protest erupted outside Jama Masjid after the Friday prayers with demands for the arrest of Nupur Sharma. People gathered in large numbers to protest against inflammatory remarks made by Nupur Sharma and expelled leader Navin Kumar Jindal. Almost 1,500 people had gathered in Jama Masjid for Friday prayers, and after the prayers, nearly 300 people came out and started to protest over the allegedly inflammatory remarks by Nupur Sharma and Navin Jindal. DCP Central District Shweta Chauhan was quoted as saying this by ANI. The Shahi Imam of Delhi's Jama Masjid, however, has distanced himself from the demonstration, saying that no such call for protest was given by the mosque authorities. He said, "We don't know who are the ones protesting. I think they belong to AIMIM or they are Oasis people. We made it clear that if they want to protest, they can, but we will not support them." This is what Shahi Imam of Jama Masjid said. Now let's move on to Uttar Pradesh, Prayagraj. In Uttar Pradesh's Prayagraj, stones were hurled as clashes broke out between police and protesters in Atala area over controversial remarks of Nupur Sharma and Navin Kumar Jindal. Huge crowds also gathered in Uttar Pradesh's Muradabad and Saharanpur district demanding Nupur Sharma's arrest over her remarks. Security has been beefed up in other UP cities including Lucknow, Kanpur and Firozabad as a precautionary measure. Now, violence had erupted in Kanpur last week over the BJP leader's statement. DM, SSP, ADG and IG have been injured in stone pelting in Prayagraj and the SP's vehicle has also broken down. There is arson on the street. The situation got so bad that ADG had to take up the gun. Some personnel of paramilitary forces were also injured. Now let's move on to Belgavi. An effigy of BJP's Nupur Sharma was found hanging from the electric wire near a mosque on Fort Road in Karnataka's Belgavi on Friday. As soon as the issue created outrage among the people, the police along with the municipal corporation removed it immediately. Let's move on to Kashmir now. Slogans were raised against Nupur Sharma's remarks in Srinagar and several other cities of Kashmir. Here also the demonstration started only after Namaz. Many posters were also seen in which it was also said to bring beheading of those who insulted Prophet Mohammed. Meanwhile, tensions mounted in Jammu's Bhaderwa and some areas of Kishtwar, prompting authorities to impose a curfew while parts of Kashmir observed a shutdown. Internet services were snapped in the Bhaderwa and Kishtwar towns and Srinagar city of Kashmir as a precautionary measure. Sporadic incidents of stone pelting were also reported in Bhaderwa town. Some people violating restrictions came on the streets and threw stones at security forces amid the sloganeering. Let's move on to Ranchi from Jharkhand. The protest over BJP leaders' remarks on Prophet Mohammed turned violent in Jharkhand's Ranchi on Friday. As the crowd started pelting stones, the officials had to resort to lathi charge and firing in the air to disperse the crowd. Several police personnel were injured in the incident. The protesters resorted to stone pelting and arson. Stones were also thrown at the police who had arrived to handle the situation. Several police officers had been injured in the protest. A teenager has also reportedly died in this. 12 other people are reportedly injured. Out of this, 7 people have been shot. After this incident, Hindu organizations also started to come out on the streets. The police opened fire at the gathered mob. Bihar's road construction minister Nitin Naveen was also attacked by the miscreants. His car was vandalized. The police had rescued him from the miscreants and then took him to a safe place. As tensions escalated, a large number of police and security forces have now been deployed there. Section 144 has also been imposed in the area of 500 meter in and around the main road of Ranchi. During stone pelting on Mahavir temple, people hid in the temple to save their lives. The police resorted to lathi charge and tear gas shells to control the crowd. They also fired in the air. The mob also broke the glasses of MLA Amit Yadav's car. More than 3,000 shops of daily market remained closed since morning in the protest. After the Friday prayers, a large number of protesters then took to the road. When the police stopped them, the crowd became furious and then they clashed with the police. Let's move on to the next state, that is Telangana. The outrage over BJP leaders' remarks spilled over to Telangana as well, with protests taking place outside Mecca Masjid in Hyderabad. Later, the protesters were dispersed from the spot. Heavy security has been deployed in the area in the aftermath. Let's move on to West Bengal. In Kolkata, hundreds turned up during Friday prayers with posters demanding Nupur Sharma's arrest. The state also saw demonstrations on Thursday, with protesters putting up road blockades in several places of West Bengal's Howrah district. Police resorted to using tear gas to disperse the crowd in Howrah on Friday after protesters pelted stones. Let's move on to Punjab. Protests were organized across Punjab at the Ludhiana Jama Masjid by the Shahi Imam of Punjab demanding the arrest of those who disobeyed the Prophet. It was performed on the call of Shahi Imam Maulana Muhammad Usman Rahmani Ludhianvi. After Friday prayers, effigies of Nupur Sharma and Navin Kumar Jindal were burnt by Majlis Ehrar Islam Hind. The demonstrators said, "The arrogance in the glory of the Prophet cannot be tolerated." Let's move on to the last state, that is Maharashtra. Protests have also been taking place in Navi Mumbai, Panvel, Solapur, Aurangabad in Maharashtra. However, there is no news of any violence from this state. A large number of women and children also participated in the demonstration. Well, the intention of this report is to inform our viewers about what is happening. We would request our viewers to avoid sharing any unverified news on this matter. We would also urge people to maintain peace and not indulge in violence. Do let us know what you think about this in the comment box below. For more news and updates, you can log on to www.hwnews.in.